It's time to cut up a perfectly good truck. Dang it. That's hard to move. Pinch welds are staying together though. That's what's important. What we have here is a 2018 modern square body with 35-inch tires, a 5-inch lift, and as you know, these square bodies can be a problem with tire clearance. So with a 5-inch lift, 10-inch wide rims, but they're on a 0 offset, so they poke out about an inch more than stock. I was having clearance issues right here. So I cut off the inside of my mud flaps to give me the clearance back there. But this is sheet metal here. This is the actual body of the truck. And if I don't turn my tire full lock, it'll hit right here at about 3/4 lock and make an awful noise. So this is the only place that I have a clearance issue, and it's fine if you're on level ground or a parking lot. But if you're on any kind of level ground or hit a bump, that tire will touch right there, and that little bolt is actually into metal of the truck. So we're going to cut away some of that metal and put in a plate that I got from Zone Offroad, and that should gain us about 5/8 of an inch of clearance. So once I turn full lock, the edge of the tire is over here and I have no clearance issues. And I have no other clearance or rubbing issues on the rest of the truck. This is from my previous tire setup. It doesn't rub there anymore, and I don't have any valance interference at all. So if you're watching this to figure out, you know, what kind of setup you want on your truck or things like that, I'm not really going to get into that as much as I'm going to focus on getting more clearance back here. But this is a 0 offset rim, same width as a stock rim, except it pushes out this way a little bit. And these are 35 by 12.5 inch wide tires, 35 inches tall by 12.5 inch wide on a 20-inch rim. And I've seen plenty of these 2014s to 2018s. I call them modern square bodies. I've seen plenty of them running like 35s with a level kit, or 35s even on stock, but I don't know how that's possible. This is the second 2014 to 2018 that I've owned. The first one had a leveling kit on it, 2.5-inch leveling kit, and that allowed me to run 33-inch tires that were really 32-inch by 11.5 wide on stock rims. And it wasn't hitting, but it was close. I don't know how people are getting 35s on stock trucks, or even trucks that are leveled and not having serious interference issues either with their upper arms, upper control arms, or their body frame, or something inside of the fender well. But this is a 5-inch suspension lift, so my truck is 5 inches taller and these are still hitting. So this is what I've experienced. Love the look of the truck, love the ride of the truck. These Toyo tires have been awesome. They're fairly quiet considering how aggressive they are. And I love the look of these rims. Balance and everything has been great. But the tire hitting the metal is something that I want to get rid of today. So I'm jacked up, and I also have 2 jack stands under here. So I'm as safe as I can be. So a real quick overview of how this lift works. You'll see a big lift block here, and basically it's taken all of the stock suspension and pushed it down. The upper control arm used to mount up here. Now it has a bracket to push it down here. Same on this side. We have brackets that lower the brake line attachment point. Same thing with the lower arms. They used to mount up there. Now they mount down here on a bracket. And also the stabilizer has been lowered. And there's also some brackets up underneath where the front differential has been lowered as well. So everything is stock suspension. This is the Z71 suspension with the Rancho strut, and all that is original to the truck. Truck has 40,000 miles. All that's just been pushed down, and even when this truck has been lifted 5 inches, I still have clearance issues over here. Now that we got everything unfastened, the instructions actually say to take this felt liner all the way out, but I don't see a need for that. So we're just going to put a piece of copper wire here on the felt liner and pull it up here out of the way, and that'll give us plenty of clearance to work on this area here. I've already pulled the insulation out here a little bit because that was all the way down in here, and this is where we'll be cutting, and we don't want any sparks setting that insulation on fire. So I'm going to put some tin foil there just to protect that, and next we're going to mark where we got to cut it, and then put in the Zone Offroad bracket. And the bracket will go in something like this. There's a hole there for the existing bolt that holds on your trim, and it'll go in here something like this, and we're going to have to reuse that clip, and then this corner will tuck in behind the metal here, and that's going to push everything back that way about 5/8 of an inch. First thing we're going to do is give ourselves a line here. So we're going to cut from here down like that, and then we're going to cut from here over to there like that. So this is what will get removed, this piece right here. So looking at it from underneath, you can see this line is coming down from the top, and I just put a little bit extra blue there. We measure over about 3/4 of an inch from this hole, and then we're going to draw a line from that 3/4 mark over to here, and then this is the metal that's going to get removed also. So from the top side you see this, and then that line continues, and there's where you're going to gain your clearance. All right, here's the point of no return, or no going back, I guess. That cut that pretty easily. Feels weird cutting my truck, I ain't gonna lie. It's cut easy so far, which I guess is good and bad. I just got to connect these cuts. So now that the sheet metal is off the truck, there's still some more cutting to do. This whole corner here is going to get cut off. And then there's pinch welds here, and you can feel them because they're like round divots. So there's a pinch weld right here, and we don't want to cut that. And then there's a pinch weld right here. We don't want to cut that. So what we want to do is we want to cut this off. We'll make a slice in here and cut that off, and we'll cut this piece out straight down and along the same line that we cut the other one. So this corner will come off, and then we'll go in between the pinch welds. So right here we'll make a cut, and then above this pinch weld we'll make a cut right here. So this will be completely gone. This will be a tab of metal, this will be a tab of metal, and then those will get beat around the back, maintaining the pinch weld, and then you'll have all this clearance. So that's the piece of metal we removed. So far this felt trim has not been in the way at all, so you can save yourself a little bit of time by just folding it back. We'll try and fold this back with pliers. Now if this was on a lift, you could really swing a hammer up under here. Probably have to finish it off with a hammer. That's hard to move. Pinch welds are staying together though. That's what's important. Now, this is a four pound hammer. You can see it's still tough to move that. I think I got it. And now we need to sand this down and paint it to make sure that doesn't rust. Since this exposed metal has no kind of corrosion treatment, you want to make sure you treat all that. I've got some Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer. I've taped off everything so I don't get overspray on my truck. I'm just going to hit all these places where I cut and just prevent them from rusting. While that's drying, we're going to transfer these nut plates over. And everything I've read said the top is GMC, the bottom is Chevy. But if I take this and line the bottom hole up, it almost looks like this lines up with that second hole. But in order to pull these out, you just kind of collapse them like that and then push. They're just nut plates just to hold the screw. So that one came out. I'm going to put it in the bottom one. I can always change it if it's in the wrong place. Goes in there, and I could spread that, but it's staying in there good enough. I'll do this other one. Same thing. Might need needle nose for this one. Same concept though. Squeeze these in without breaking them and push it back out like that. You can see how it collapsed that one side, but it's still strong enough to hold. And that will push in here. Go ahead and bend it out a little with a screwdriver. That's in there, it's not coming out. It's had a little bit of time to dry, so I'm going to go ahead and take off this tape, put this thing back together. Now they say this is skill level is easy, and they say 1 to 2 hours for the total job, and I'd say that's fairly accurate. It's probably been about an hour for this side, and that includes moving the camera and everything and being extra cautious the first time that you cut. Let's go ahead and put this trim plate in, and I was just looking at some instructions, and it did say bottom for GMC. I don't know why I remembered top for GMC, but bottom for GMC, top for Chevy. So this is held in by the fender bolt, but you'll tuck the top part of it in behind the metal that you cut, and that'll hold the top part. And all this is for trim. This is not a structural piece for your truck or anything. This simply is to allow you to put your trim back on and cover up all this cutting that we have done. I'm going to start the bolt in there loosely and then make sure we have that top tucked in correctly. So this is where the cut line, the vertical cut line, comes into play. Well, I guess I can't do that with the bolt in it. But this slides behind there just a little bit, and that's what holds the top of it in. So the top of it's held in by being tucked behind there, and then all of your screw plates are there for your trim. Now that bolt's in there temporarily because I'm going to have to use that to actually put the trim back on. But for now I can put the felt on. I'm going to tuck this insulation back behind that plate the best I can. So this is the insulation. I'm just pushing it back there. It won't really go behind that plate. There's not a lot of room. See, all that's nicely covered. This will go in one of those nut plates that we put in. Right there. Now that's in that new piece of trim. You can see how it's pulling all that back in against there. And there's the other one that we put in. We'll leave this loose until we get all this carpet in. So Zone says an hour to 2 hours to do this job, and that's for both sides. I looked at the camera, and it was an hour for me to do the cutting work and then spray painting. And then it was an hour and a half, 90 minutes, to put the trim back on. And what happens is over here where that bracket is, things don't line up anymore. And I had to keep taking it off, putting it back on. And that little Zone bracket kept slipping out from behind the piece of metal it needed to be on. because the bolt that holds it all together holds this trim on. I don't know if that's shown in videos, and I don't know if it's a GMC versus a Chevy thing, but 90 minutes to put on the trim versus 1 hour to do the mod. So I would say the other side is going to be quicker. If I don't have the trim issues as far as lining them up, I would say an hour would be reasonable, especially once you know what you're doing. But let's put this tire on and see if we gained any clearance, because I'm a little bit skeptical about that as well, even though we moved quite a bit of metal. I like to seat everything by hand to make sure there's no binding. And going down. Whoop, that went down fast. Faster than I wanted, but should be all right. Before it slips my mind, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I got good torque on these. I'm just going to use a 1/2 inch breaker bar. I think the foot-pounds is 180 for these, but I just need to check them, make sure that I didn't miss one with the impact. So first, let's go over to the side we haven't done yet, just kind of look at it. See the way that is in there. Look at it from the top. That is with no metal cut. Now let's see with the eye if we can see a difference. Okay, so with the metal cut, it looks like that's back farther. Now this nut plate slipped out of that zone plate right there, so this actually could go in further, but that's just rubber. It's not going to change the distance. All right, let's start it up. Check it out. So going this way, there's no problem. Turning to the right with the left tire. So this is where our clearance problem was. All right, let's see. I mean, we gained a bit, but that would have been real close to hitting. Let's see if I can reach the steering wheel and keep turning it. Ah, it's hard. All right, so that's as close as it gets. I'd say we gained quite a bit as far as getting a little bit more. That's just plastic there. Like if that were to hit that little screw, that's just plastic. So I'll try to get you guys a real good angle here, but I have clearance that I never had before. And when that was close, like the metal was right there behind this plastic. Well, there's no metal there anymore. We've cut it out. Now this can flex a little. This is just where the mud flap is. We could take the mud flap off completely and gain another 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. But that jam nut or that bug nut that was supposed to stay in the bracket came out. So this would technically be back a little, but that's not where it would hit anyway. But if you imagine if that tire were to go up in the wheel well, it's not going to hit anything. So I'd call that a win. I don't think I'm going to have any issues when I hit a bump when I'm turning as far as my tire hitting metal. In some extreme angles, it may hit the plastic of that mud flap, but it definitely has a lot more clearance. And for $40 as far as the kit, that's a bargain. As far as how long it takes you to install, that's going to be up to you. But that'll wrap it up. Until next time, y'all take care out there. We'll see you on the next video.